topics of translation. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. Please repeat. Both by rising and by setting. The sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by acceleration of devotional service. So the human form of life is very rare and precious, because in the human form of life we can realize our lost relationship with God. There are 8,400,000 species of life, of which 400,000 are human. So it's a very rare birth and very important to utilize for the best purpose, to realize our lost relationship with God. So this first sentence says, this verse indirectly confirms the greater importance of utilizing the human form of life to realize our lost relationship with the Supreme Lord by acceleration of devotional service. So acceleration means to go faster. Like in the car, you have the accelerator. If you want to go faster, you step on it. And because our duration of life is being shortened by every rising and setting of the sun, by every ticking of the clock, we have to step on it. We have to go faster, because we don't know how much time we have, and time is running out. Time and tide wait for no man. So the time indicated by the sunrise and the sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Srila Prabhupada was very expert at speaking in the language of his audience. And in Bombay, Srila Prabhupada had a good friend named Sri Bridgeratan Mota. Sri Mota had been the wealthiest man in what became Pakistan. And he was married to the daughter of R.D. Birla, who was the wealthiest man in India. And Mr. Mota, being a businessman, wanted, like any businessman, to maximize his profits and minimize his losses. So Srila Prabhupada told him that in the ledger of your life, any time used in Krishna consciousness is profit. And any time used outside of Krishna consciousness is loss. So the natural conclusion is to use all your time in Krishna consciousness and don't waste any time outside of it. So the time indicated by the sunrise and the sunset will be uselessly wasted if such time is not properly utilized for realizing identification of spiritual values. Even a fraction of the duration of life wasted cannot be compensated by any amount of gold. So this is very practical. Say, at the time of death, if you're willing to pay the doctor any amount of money to extend your life by even a moment, he won't be able to do so because each of us is allotted a certain amount of time and we cannot exceed our limit. So that means that every moment is of incalculable value. Because if we want even one more moment at the end of life, by paying any amount of money, we can't get it. So our time is so valuable. Our life is made of time, and it's so valuable that we can't afford to squander any of it. We should use it all for Krishna consciousness. And there are so many ways in which we can waste time. I don't know why the word Facebook popped into my mind, but there are many ways to waste time, and we should be careful. And a lot of the time we waste comes in small doses, and so, but it adds up. A few minutes here, a few minutes there, it adds up. So we should be very careful. Yeah, in one talk in Los Angeles, Srila Prabhupada said, don't waste time. If you've got time, chant Hare Krishna. Don't speak nonsense. Don't waste time. Human life is simply awarded to a living entity, jiva, so that he can realize his spiritual identity and his permanent source of happiness. A living being, especially the human being, is seeking happiness because happiness is the natural situation of the living entity. But he is vainly seeking happiness in the material atmosphere. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole, and his happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. So we all want happiness. We all want permanent happiness. But because we are spiritual beings, we can experience real happiness only in relation to the Supreme Spirit, or Krishna. And any other effort will end in failure and frustration. At one time, the richest man in the world was John Paul Getty, and an interviewer asked him, you're the richest man in the world. Can you tell us in one word, what is your philosophy of life? And he said, yes, in one word, more. Now that's actually a pretty sad statement, because what he's saying, knowingly or unknowingly, is that he's not satisfied. He wants more. Material wealth is not the source of permanent happiness. And the interviewer also asked him, when you're alone and you have nothing else to do, what do you think about? And he replied, I think about how to pay the bills. Just like any ordinary person. His bill might be $1 billion to take over some company that he wants to acquire, but it's the same principle. So just as we, at whatever our level is, are not happy in our material situation, even if you're the richest man in the world, you still won't be happy in your material situation. So that is not the source of our permanent happiness. The source of our permanent happiness is spiritual. A living being is constitutionally a spiritual spark of the complete whole, and his happiness can be perfectly perceived in spiritual activities. The Lord is the complete spirit whole, and his name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all identical with him. Yes, God is absolute, so his name and he are the same. In the material world or the relative world, the name of a thing and the thing are different. For example, if I'm hungry and I chant mango, 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 chanting mango, mango won't satisfy my hunger, because the word mango and the thing mango are different. But if I chant Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna is personally present, dancing on my tongue. So because Krishna is absolute, we can come in contact with him by chanting his name and glories, by worshiping his deity, by any of the multifarious ways in which Krishna manifests himself. The Lord is the complete spirit whole, and his name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all identical with him. Once a person comes into contact with any one of the above-mentioned energies of the Lord, through the proper